Friends Romans, countrymen, lend me your ears. Today, we're diving into one of Shakespeare's most epic tales of ambition. Betrayal and political turmoil, the tragedy of Julius Caesar. Grab your togas, and let's head back to ancient Rome. Our story kicks off with Julius Caesar returning to Rome in triumph after defeating his rival, Pompey. The crowds are going wild, treating him like a rock star. They're offering him crowns and practically begging him to be their king. Caesar, playing it cool, refuses the crown 3 times, but you can tell he's enjoying the attention. A little too much, perhaps. While the common people adore him, a group of powerful Roman senators are getting seriously worried. They see Caesar's soaring popularity and ambition as a direct threat to the Roman Republic. Leading this concerned group is the noble and highly respected Brutus. Brutus is a close friend of Caesar, but he loves Rome more. He's torn between his loyalty to his friend and his duty to his country. This is where the cunning Cassius steps in. Cassius is the mastermind of the conspiracy. He sees Brutus' senatorial conflict and knows that getting him on their side is crucial for their plan to have any legitimacy. Cassius is a master manipulator. He flatters Brutus, reminding him of his noble ancestry and his family's history of defending the Republic. He also forges letters from concerned citizens and throws them into Brutus's window, all begging him to take action against Caesar's tyranny. Meanwhile, spooky things are happening all over Rome. There are storms, strange sightings, and a soothsayer who famously warned Caesar to beware the Ides of March. Caesar, ever the proud leader, dismisses these warnings as nonsense. Even his wife, Calpurnia, has terrifying nightmares about his death and begs him not to go to the Senate on March 15th. Caesar almost gives in, but one of the conspirators, Decius Brutus, reinterprets the dream in a flattering way and convinces him that the Senate plans to offer him the crown again. Caesar's ambition gets the better of him, and he decides to go. The Ides of March arrives. As Caesar enters the Senate, the conspirators surround him, pretending to plead a case. Then, in a shocking, brutal moment, they all stab him. The most heart-wrenching moment comes when Caesar sees his dear friend Brutus among the attackers. He utters the famous line, "Et tu, Brute? And you, Brutus?" before he falls. It's a devastating betrayal that seals his fate. With Caesar dead, the conspirators believe they have saved the Republic. Brutus addresses the public, explaining his reasons. He's calm, logical, and persuasive. He convinces the crowd that Caesar had to be killed for the good of Rome, to prevent him from becoming a dictator. The people seem to understand and even cheer for Brutus. For a moment, it looks like their plan has worked perfectly. But then, Brutus makes a critical mistake. He allows Caesar's loyal right-hand man, Mark Antony, to speak at the funeral. Brutus makes Antony promise not to blame the conspirators, but Antony is a brilliant and passionate speaker. He begins his speech by saying, "Friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your ears. I come to bury Caesar, not to praise him." He repeatedly calls Brutus and the others honorable men, but his tone is dripping with sarcasm. Antony cleverly uses Caesar's will, which he reads to the crowd. In it, Caesar has left his private gardens and a sum of money to every Roman citizen. He paints a picture of Caesar as a generous, loving leader who was viciously murdered by traitors. He holds up Caesar's bloody toga, pointing out the rips made by each conspirator's dagger, especially the one from the well-beloved Brutus. The crowd, which was just cheering for Brutus, is now a furious mob, inflamed with grief and a desire for revenge. They riot, driving the conspirators out of Rome. The second half of the play shifts gears. Rome is plunged into a bloody civil war. Mark Antony teams up with Caesar's adopted son, Octavius, and another general named Lepidus to form a new ruling triumvirate. They hunt down and execute anyone connected to the conspiracy. Meanwhile, Brutus and Cassius have fled to Greece and are trying to raise an army to fight Antony and Octavius. But their partnership is falling apart. They argue bitterly over strategy and money. The guilt and stress are clearly taking a toll on them. In a famous scene, the ghost of Caesar appears to Brutus, telling him they will meet again at Philippi, the site of the upcoming battle. It's a chilling reminder that Brutus can't escape the consequences of his actions. The final act is the great battle at Philippi. It's chaos and confusion. Cassius, misinformed that his best friend has been captured, tragically takes his own life. When Brutus finds his body, he mourns his fellow conspirator, calling him the last of all the Romans. Knowing the battle is lost and unwilling to be captured and paraded through the streets of Rome as a prisoner, Brutus decides his time has come. He asks one of his loyal soldiers to hold his sword while he runs onto it. With his dying breath, he says that he killed Caesar with less goodwill than he now kills himself. He dies, believing his actions were, in the end, for the good of Rome. In the end, Antony and Octavius find Brutus's body. In a surprising moment of respect, Antony declares Brutus was the noblest Roman of them all. He acknowledges that while the other conspirators acted out of envy and personal gain, Brutus genuinely believed he was doing the right thing for his country. And so, the play ends not with a celebration of victory, but with a somber reflection on the cost of political violence. The Roman Republic, which Brutus fought to save, is effectively destroyed, paving the way for the rise of the Roman Empire under Octavius, who would later become Emperor Augustus. It's a powerful story that leaves us questioning what it means to be a hero, a villain, a patriot, and a traitor. Thanks for joining me on this whirlwind tour of Julius Caesar. It's a timeless classic for a reason. If you enjoyed this breakdown, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell so you don't miss our next deep dive into literary history. See you next time.